Wow, I've been speaking when my audio is off. I hope now everybody can hear me. Welcome everybody to this video. I am Nehemiah, a backend engineer, or rather actually full stack, and I've mentored a number of people to become software engineers. And now today I am going to build endpoints concerned with flight order management. This is day 12 or part 12, where I'm building a flight booking engine. Okay. And several things have been covered so far. Okay, like searching for flights, viewing seat maps, and doing several other things like confirming the price. And yeah, we've done some DevOps like deploying to EC2, and soon, yeah, I'll do more DevOps like setting up a CI/CD using GitHub Actions. We shall use techniques and tools like caching using Redis, Kafka, Kubernetes, all the way up to the front end. This is my first ever project I am building using FastAPI. I have created several projects in the backend space, but this is my first time doing FastAPI. I studied FastAPI for 31 days, and that was last month. And now I am building my first ever FastAPI project here. So yeah, welcome to this journey, and let's build certain things today. So yeah, I'm here failing, learning, unlearning, and getting better as the days go by. Excuse me. So let us get into this and start. Okay. And like for those of you who are coming here for the first time, I have been learning using the Amadeus API. I'm building on top of it, and I will expand and go beyond what that API can offer. Okay. So yeah, I see Linus, you've joined. You said before you end the stream, please tell us how you establish your workflow to know which feature to build next. Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question. Thank you, uh, Linus. I'll answer it. Remind me before the end, okay? And actually, also, I promised to show you guys something, okay? Yesterday, and I'll show you my research concerning this and the service. Okay, if you go to external services, flight, concerning this. Was it viewing seat maps? Yes. So you see, I fixed it, and actually you can send information, okay, via the request body. So let's go to the browser. Okay, here it is. So this is what we're going to work with. We're going to build on top of this, okay? And of course, in the past weeks, we've just been building some of the endpoints concerned. I mean, we've been building our endpoints wrapping around this, but we're going to add on other layers, like you will see. So yeah, flight order management. Okay, it says the flight order management API makes it easy to consult and manage flight reservations using the booking ID provided by the flight create orders API. Flight order management checks the latest status of a reservation, showing post-booking modifications like ticket information, form of payment, and lets you cancel reservations. That is what this API offers, okay? Which is great and very good. So they say this API answers the question, where can I consult and manage my bookings? So this is what I'll try to achieve to solve today, okay? So if you go to the API reference, okay, we are going to see two major endpoints, okay? So they say register your API key and start coding. Of course, you know I do this. They say flight order management test.api amadeus.com v1, but know that the flight booking engine, I mean SDK the Amadeus Python SDK calls this endpoint for us. Okay. And then they say before using this endpoint, we recommend you read our authorization guide. Okay, how to generate an access token. And actually today during the day, okay, when I was trying to understand something, okay, I created my own function which calls the API, which gives you an access token. And maybe I can show you that right now. So if you come to the service, actually I want to show you, I changed a few things. I'll minimize this. if you come to this, okay, this part, okay, you say this function here, which says get Amadeus credentials, is being used here, okay. Remember, initially we're saying self.api key self.api secret is equals to we were doing this. Let me show you. We're saying self.api key, okay. Let me comment this line of code. We're saying self.api key equals to this, okay, like that, okay. And then we were saying self.api secret API secret equals to this, okay. But I changed it. I removed all the logic to a function, okay, responsible for getting the Amadeus credentials from the environment, okay. So like I told you, as we build this application, sometimes I'll be changing things offline, small things, and I'll explain to you. So I changed it. Instead of doing this, okay, we simply use a function. So let me remove this. I'll remove this, okay, and uncomment this, okay. So this function returns a tuple, okay, and we unpack it like this. This is how you do it in Python, okay. And I know most of you here are Python developers, and you know what this is, okay. So this is how I do it, and then inside these functions where I actually get the secrets, okay, and do validation and then return, okay. Going forward, actually, I am even going to improve this better, okay. I'm going to improve this better. It's not the end. I already have an idea for what to do using a module called Pydantic settings, okay. We're going to make this even better, okay, and you'll see how Pydantic will be very good at that. In addition to that, there's another method which is called get Amadeus access token, okay. It makes a request to this, okay, and then I form a request body having the grant type, which is client credentials, the client ID, and the client secret. Okay, so the client ID and client secret come from this function get Amadeus credentials. So you're seeing me reusing it. Okay, I'm reusing it here, and I'm also reusing it in the init method. So you're starting to see why I made that function to avoid duplication. Okay, of saying os.environment.get instead of having to do this everywhere. Okay, we simply have one function which is responsible for getting us the Amadeus credentials, which is the API key and secret, as simple as that. Okay, and actually, yeah, that is it. As simple as that. I make a post request in case there's an issue. We raise an error for that status, like if it's a 400, 500, etc. Okay, or rather, we simply get response to JSON and then we get the access token from the response JSON. And if there's an error, we simply raise it again. We catch and then raise it again. That's what I'm doing. So let us go to the routers right now. Flights, okay, and we continue. So today I'll say async, okay, and by now, of course, because we have done this again and again, I'm sure you understand many of the things, okay. Async dev, okay. So this one, what we want to do is for order management, okay. So if you go to the browser, okay, they have the way they name them, and I also want to keep them the same way, okay. So I'll say flight order management, okay, like that, and I close it. What's wrong with AI? Okay, then I can leave it empty for now, okay. Then we shall need, of course, to define the router dot get. This will be the first one, okay, and then this one will be / booking / flight orders, but I want to name it after this, okay. Yeah, flight orders, then flight order ID, okay. So / flight order ID. Who remembers what flight order ID is? Who can type it in the chat? What is flight order ID from what we learned when I was studying FastAPI during the 30 days? What do we call flight order ID when it is wrapped, this string, which is wrapped around quotes in the path? Okay, I hope you guys remember those kind of details. It's very, very important. Okay, so this is simply to remember, it's a path, okay? A path parameter. So I'll come here and state it. I'll say flight dash, underscore order ID, okay? And I'll accept what AI has suggested, but I'm going to change it, okay? I'm going to change it. I'll come here and say annotated, okay? And then I say the type is a string, okay? And it's not a query because AI is trying to tell us query, but we know this is wrong. That is why I told you need to have knowledge, okay, first to use AI. If you don't have the right knowledge, AI will bully you, okay, and you'll do wrong things. That's why we took time studying from the documentation, and now AI is being quick, but this is right. This is wrong. We know that this is supposed to be a path variable. So I'll go up here and import path, then come at the bottom and change query to path because the path variable, okay? And it's a string. And just a recap, if you want to add path is simply metadata, more information about this path variable, this function parameter, which is the path variable, okay? Saying that we want to give it another constraint, telling FastAPI that this is not only a string, but it is a path variable. And to do this, you need annotated. You annotate the function parameter, which is a path variable. Why is it a path variable? Because it is part of the path here. So now we can now come and make changes. Okay. If you look at this, this is actually okay. What AI is suggesting is fair enough. Okay. If I do this, this is okay. Actually, I think for all these, okay, we may need to put a try catch, and I'll explain to you maybe later when I refactor. Okay. So this is okay. Says response equals Amadeus flight service dot get flight order. Okay. And we pass the flight order ID from here. Okay. Then we have a status code 500 saying detail flight order retrieval failed. Okay. So we need to implement this method. How do we implement it? I'll come to the service here. Okay. And I say define. I'll come and copy its name. So you see, sometimes when AI completes for you, you need, of course, to review it and to see that it's okay. Okay. So I'll come in, I copy it. Okay. And here, this will be to take in self because it is an instance method. And of course, we'll expect a flight order ID. I want to keep the naming the same. So I'll put it uppercase like that. Okay. Look at what AI is trying to, okay, it gives documentation, retrieve the flight order details using the Amadeus flight orders API arguments that returns a dictionary. Okay, I can keep the documentation, not bad. Okay, but what I want to look at is this. Okay, it says response equals Amadeus.booking.flight orders.get flight order ID. This has to be changed. Dot data. Okay, but I want to confirm from the example they have on GitHub if this is correct. So if you go to flight order management and we look at, open this and go to this file, you see it is Amadeus booking flight order. Are you seeing this? What they are doing? That's why I tell you, you have to verify the documentation. Okay, you have to verify documentation. I'll come here and change this. Okay, so we shall copy this and change it. Yes, take Eugene Omoyo or Ojaka. I remember the name Ojaka. You're using a longer name here. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad that I wait. Ojaka, how did you land? How did you land here? I had not published this at ALX. I'm going to put a firewall. If viewer is equals to ALX, block screen. Oh, I'm kidding though. Welcome. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm excited. I'm happy to see you, to have you here. That's why I'm reacting like this. I hope you're learning. Okay. My too many words are because I'm happy that you're here. Actually, many people who have been following these streams are people who have been at ALX. Like you'll find out soon in the chat. So yeah, Ojaka, you're welcome. And thank you for following along. So I was just saying, sometimes AI gives you code which looks so good to be true. Okay? To be true. Look at this. Self.amadeus.booking.flight. Doesn't this sound nice and correct? It sounds nice and correct, but that's not the thing. Okay, so I'm going to remove. I'm just going to remove it. Okay, to avoid trouble. Okay, what Nigerians call wahala. Okay, and I do this. Okay, just copy this, come back here, next line, paste it. Okay, so of course here we know that we have it is supposed to be self dot Amadeus dot booking flight order. Then you pass the flight order. Okay, but this has to change. Okay, because we're using a variable to flight order ID. This as simple as that. Dot get. Then we return the response, and if there's an error, we simply raise it. Okay, so we don't return. Take note of that. I'm not returning errors. I raise the error. Have you noticed that? Okay. Actually, here instead of raising an exception here, we can actually return a message. Okay, but let me leave that for now. I'll show you that when we reach advanced stages. Okay. In fact, just to let you know, we are now next time. What I'm going to do going forward with this project, I want to start alternating. Today we have built a feature. The next thing I want us to do should be catching. Okay. After, so that we understand the concept of catching, implement catching using Redis, and how to use it, how to add it using Docker. Okay, using a Docker Compose file. Okay, so if I can show you, we dealt with Docker compose.yaml. We're going to add another service, okay, of Redis, just like we have two services here, the app and DB. Okay, so I'm going to just add it. Okay, Ojaka, tell me how are these streams? How do you find these streams? Okay, how do you find FastAPI to Django that we do at ALX? I'm curious to know. So yeah, we shall do that. Then after that, maybe build a feature, then do DevOps, maybe build a feature, then do things like maybe Terraform, build a feature, do something else like that until we're getting done. Okay. And yeah, soon by the end of this month, we shall have done almost like 90% of this backend. So that we start now consuming the front end and yeah, do more cooler stuffs. So time to test this. Okay. Stop the talking and go back to this. Okay. And of course, for those who are just joining now, this appears, we're going to see it because we have here in main.py, we include that router. Okay. App.include, app.include. Okay. And of course, we see that this is deprecated, but we're going to fix it soon during a refactor. So I'll go to my, I want to go into my browser, but I need to run this Docker Compose app. Okay, so the application is running. What I now need to do next is, what is that endpoint? Flights.py. Yeah, this is, let me just copy it and then go to Postman. Jaka says it looks nice. I have not explored FastAPI, but I've heard it is cool. I'm still learning DRF. Oh, no problem. No problem. You can continue learning DRF. Very soon, actually, if you want to learn FastAPI, like sometimes you hear me telling you the best way is to follow documentation. I started using the documentation on YouTube recently. Okay, so you can also look at that playlist and watch along as you see me studying, as you're also studying, and yeah, study along in case you'd be interested. Yeah, DRF is pretty nice. Okay, pretty nice and cool too. So I'll go to Postman like I was doing, and yeah, duplicate one of these. I'll just duplicate this one. Okay, and rename it to flight order management, something like that. Okay, flight order management, and this has to be a get. Okay, then the URL. Actually, Ojeka, I'm sure by now you've seen that the concepts are the same. Okay, you have okay, very much the same. So I close this. Okay, now I need a real flight order ID. Okay, so they told us to pick this flight order ID from somewhere. Okay, if I come here, this I want to remove these things like the body. I'll say none. Okay, so if I go to the browser, okay, and look at the documentation, they explained something. Okay, let me go back here. I want to show you. Okay, where is it? Read this. It says the flight order management API makes it easy to consult and manage flight reservations using the booking ID provided by flight create orders. Okay, so we have to go to flight create orders. So the one for creating an order was which one? Where is it? Flight. This one here. Flight booking. Actually, flight booking is flight is an order. Let me rename it. Okay. Let me say. Let me just call it flight order. Okay, flight order. It's a better name actually. Okay, so here do we have an order? Okay, let's try to send a request for this. Okay, so we are unauthorized, so we need to log in first. So I'll come here, okay, and click. That's why I like Postman. Okay, so with Postman, your information is already saved, so you can perform old requests, okay, and get the data instead of than the what the interactive documentation. Interactive documentation, the interactive documentation, I think, is only good if you're like reading for the first time and maybe a front-end developer, you're just testing out something. But I think for long-term execution, something like Postman is way better because you get to save your data. So I'll need to set this. So I've selected everything. Okay. And then I'll say set as variable and I'll choose bearer token. Okay. Then I go back to flight order and hit, no, not this one here. This one, okay, and hit send. Ojeka says, I have seen that you have Django playlists. The playlist I don't think I have Django playlists. I have playlists on something called Django Ninja. Okay, let's just check that right now. Okay, sorry for the diversion. Let me just do a quick diversion. I have, I think, on Django Ninja. Okay, if you come here, okay, and you check, are you seeing this? It's Django Ninja. Okay, let me. Yeah, this was something I was very curious about. Okay, it is something. It's like fast API for Django. That's how Django Ninja is. Okay, fast API for Django. Pretty interesting stuff. That's what I was doing. Okay, but I think soon I should do. I'm thinking of doing a crash course for DRF. Okay, yeah, and probably actually also one time I'm thinking of how to send an email to people maybe who are at ALX or just in general, so that I have a session where I like offer, can I call it, like I just help people understand concepts. Imagine like on a Saturday, I'm going to be on a stream for 2 hours discussing Python, helping you understand Python concepts which are challenging to you. Okay. Then another Saturday, say I'm going to be on YouTube for 2 hours explaining to you concepts in Django you find challenging. Any concept, okay? Then another one, maybe I'm going to be on YouTube explaining concepts concerning maybe JavaScript or Next.js. I don't know, I have multiple ideas. Time fails me, but let us concentrate on this. So you see an order has been created successfully, okay? Yeah, but for FastAPI, for learning FastAPI or Jaka, I have one, okay? But I would suggest right now you focus on DRF, okay? Because I know what you guys are doing at ALX. Time is running out, okay, for your capstone. So are you seeing this? This is the order, okay? So this is the value we need, okay? This flight order ID, okay? So you can just copy it and then go to this endpoint, okay? And replace this, remove this whole string which has been hard coded and paste. Okay, so I want to minimize this. I mean not minimize but reduce it can't reduce. Let me just use the okay, like that. Then I can now, so you see the body is empty. I can now hit send. And now they're giving us an interesting error. They're saying detail not found, that endpoint has not been found, okay? And it's our job, of course, to experiment. Lina says you've got a huge experience in this field of software engineering. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I've been here for some time. That's why sometimes you might see me when I'm doing things, it might appear relatively easier, okay, because of being in the field. Yeah, but I'm here to share, okay, to share with you everything that I've learned. Sometimes when I look at tools like FastAPI, Django, I'm like, wow. Express.js, I'm like, wow. I learned backend development the hard way using something called Spring. Let me show you. It's called Spring MVC. I don't know if you guys know about this. It is, many of you today, if you were to learn things, something like Spring MVC or Java, you'd stop programming. If they put a rule in the world and say today, all people who are learning backend development or must learn Java and Spring Boot, half of the developers would quit their career as software engineers. Trust me, guys. It takes some, can I call it, you have to have some balls and dedication, and you have to be made of metal. Yeah, using this I learned so many things. I appreciate by this Java and Spring Boot. It solidified me. Okay. Yeah, but let's not get into that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm here to share my experience. Okay. So they're saying this is invalid. Okay, it's not found. So let's go back to our endpoint. Okay, and we see what could we have done wrong. That's the question we should answer. Okay, we have booking, flight orders, then the what they call it, the order ID. Okay, so the question we should be asking, is this the correct way of putting of defining what can I call it, the way of defining a path variable? Okay, is this supposed to be something like this? Okay, we need to ask ourselves. Okay, in one way, just to show you, if you're stuck, you go to the documentation. You just you Google. Okay, first API path parameters. Okay, you might find AI guided us into trouble. Okay, so this is where we were when we were studying. Okay, and if you look at it, isn't it the same thing? Where's the code? Curly brackets and code. Okay, if we go to here, you see the simply add the type, the same thing. Okay, and we actually, if you remember, we studied this whole page live with me. So Ojaka, this is what I was talking about. I have over 31 videos, live streams, where I went through page by page in the tutorial guide of FastAPI learning. And some people like Linus actually followed along greatly. So I want you guys to think out loud, okay? What could be the issue, okay? If, let's go back to the code, okay? If this is correct, okay, then you're supposed to pass the variable like this, okay? And also look at the naming, okay? Look at the naming. I want to go up and show you something. You see, they're using, is it the name? Is it because there's an underscore or not? Linus says one has dash, the other has an underscore in ours. Please check. Let's check, okay? Let's come here and say underscore, okay? Save, okay? Will it work and why? We have to reason. You see, as software engineers, we have to reason why would it work, why would it not work? Okay, to simplify it, let's run, okay? Let's come here and I run. So it worked, okay? And Linus is sharp, identified it. And of course, the error we get is correct, says flight order retrieval failed. We get a 404, okay? And I want to avoid these kind of errors, these messages, okay? These added to my messages. Why? because I am going to do logging, okay? A better professional way of showing those errors. It's called logging, okay? So if I do this, we find they're saying detail not found. Again, if I simply change it to a basic string like so, you're going to see internal server error, okay? Detail flight order retrieval failed, okay? So think again, what is the challenge? Is this correct? Is it the endpoint which is not found? Or is it the what is it called? Is it this flight order management telling us you cannot get this flight order? Time to think, time to think. Let me help you. Look at this. Okay, let me print something here. If we print, okay, if I print an f string, come on, an f string, and I say, let's say order uppercase, like this, order ID, okay, I've just done autocomplete. So let's run. Has it? You see? Are you seeing this? As soon as I execute, we get nothing in our. This is not printed. What does it tell you if this is not printed? It tells you that the 404 is saying that there's no resource. There's no such resource on our server. What happens if I do this? If I say just maybe that random numbers and I hit send, and look at this. You see, we get order ID. This, that is when it passes through. Okay, which means there are some characters which are part of the flight order which are not being allowed. Okay, so one way how I always do this, okay, when I face this kind of issue, I always, for example, I go to the documentation. Okay, I go to the documentation and look at their example. Okay, I come here, okay, and I read. I come and scroll. Let's click and go to reference and examples. So I come to the documentation. Wow, it's taking some time, longer than usual. Then I scroll, okay. Then I come, of course, like the get, okay, and I can click on. Wow, they want me to sign in before. Okay, let us sign in. As it signs in, I'll show you the example here. Are you seeing the string? It is something similar, okay. And if you go back to Postman, I think maybe the issue is because ours has random characters, okay. It's the number of characters, okay. So think if I did this, if I put quotes, would it work? Still not found. Okay. Yeah, I want you to think. I want you to think hard. So let us come here. I hit this. Login. Login should work. Someone has hacked me. I'm kidding. Okay. So you see the example here. Wait, by the way, we need to ask. I need to ask myself, am I actually using, am I picking the correct order? Wait, have I been using the correct endpoint? Guys, look at this. Look at this and look at this. Wow. I need to be punished for doing this kind of mistake. Are you seeing this? And this. These are different endpoints. Okay. Let us go back here. Okay. Are you seeing booking flight orders? Then the other one. Then also, okay, we have booking flight orders. I think that this endpoint is the same as this endpoint. In fact, I was telling you guys think, but my solution I had was actually not going to work. Do you know why? I was thinking a different line of thought. Wow. Crazy. That's why it's important to do several reviews and having like attention to to detail. Okay, attention to detail. So this is what I'm going to do. I have to rename them. Okay, of course they're different, but we have to rename them. Okay, this one. Who can suggest a name? I'm thinking about a name to rename this one too. Because actually, if you go to their documentation, you'll find. Let me open. Let me go here to flights. Of course, technically they're different endpoints because these other ones have path variables, but I need to check. And you go to flight booking and you go to create orders. Okay, this is where we get our flight ID from. I want to show you their endpoint and the differences. Something I've just spotted. Pretty interesting. So I'll go down and go to API reference and examples so that you see what I'm talking about. So here we are. I think this is it. Yeah. Are you seeing this? Booking flight orders. Okay. Then this other one is the same booking flight orders, but they have path variables. Okay. So I made a mistake. Okay. So look at this. Booking flight orders post. This is when you create a flight order. Then this one is booking flight orders get. This is booking flight orders delete. I hope friends you've got that. Okay. So sometimes you can get confused, but so which means I have to remove this from here. This is wrong. I'm not supposed to do this. Okay. But if I hit send, I should get a flight order. So let it run. Otherwise, we're going to get stuck here. Okay. Debug until I end up pulling out all the hair from my head. So I'll copy the ID. Okay. I'll just even close it. Okay. To avoid any more issues, even close this one here. So instead, let us put this. Okay. And hit send. Okay. So you see, we get the same error. So at least we're working with the correct endpoint. Okay. The question we should be asking, are we picking the correct flight order ID? Okay. When we run this endpoint, are we picking the correct ID? You may find the correct IDs may be somewhere hidden. Okay. Because are you looking at this string, for example, like this one here? It seems to be having no random, can I call it not random, but like symbols. Okay. I think it says type flight order and this is ID. So is this the flight order ID we are supposed to use or not? That's the question we should be asking. Okay. So I'll go back here. Okay. And try with this one I've copied from the endpoint. Okay. And but this is my first time getting this kind of stuff. Okay, we get, I say flight order retrieval failed. Okay, why did it fail? Probably because it does not that order does not exist. If you look at this, you see, say we get order ID, there it is. Okay, and maybe I can simply print this too. Okay, print this message. I just hit tab to accept what AI was suggesting. Then I'll come back, hit send. So you see the actual error. Some of the things actually need to be improved, like this error handling. That is something for later. But you see, we get, are you seeing this? Error retrieving flight order 404, meaning that flight order does not exist. Okay. But when we put in our own order, okay, when we put in our own order, this one here, and then I come here and I say this, you're going to see the difference, okay, in the error. You see, instead we're getting a 404 that this kind of endpoint does not exist. So how do you solve it? All right, I have a destruction here which I need to take care of. Just a moment. Just a moment. Sometimes you get unexpected things when you're in a stream. What do you think, guys? Wow. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Okay. Any thoughts? Anybody? Any suggestion from anyone? Okay. I want to go to documentation. Okay. And show you something. I don't know whether I saw it in documentation or somewhere on the internet. I want to show you. I don't know whether it is here. It was in the advanced section of path parameters. This is not it. It should be. Let me see. What? Aha. Are you seeing this? This is what I'm looking for. I don't know if you guys remember this. Okay. So I'm going to go up and read this called path converter. Say using an option directly from Starlet, you can declare a path parameter containing a path using URL like this. Okay. So something which kind of like contains, if you look at this, it has kind of like characters. Okay. It kind of like makes it look like a US, I don't know, like a URL kind of stuff. Okay. So they say in this case, the name of the parameter is file path, and the last path tells it that the parameter should match any path. Okay. So this, when you say full colon path, tells FastAPI that file path, which is the parameter, should match any path. So you can use it with this. Okay. So do you think that is the solution? That's my question for you. Do you think that's the solution? What do you think? If I came to the code, okay, where's the code? And I did this. Where is it? Where's our endpoint? Here it is. I say full colon path, just below case, full colon path. Will it work? What are your thoughts? Those who are at ALX, I always say any answer is not a bad answer. Well, you learn by saying out. Just say out anything. What do you think? Any thoughts? All right, let's test it. Okay, let's find out, because we're printing order ID this. Okay, let's come. Where is post one? Let's send. says flight order retrieval refused. So if I come here, you see, finally, we get it. Because ideally, it was not passing here. Do you agree? It was not being passed. This point was not being reached because this was being regarded as an invalid endpoint. Okay. But we pass, this now passes. Okay, so I can remove this line of code. So you see now, you see that this is how like sometimes you can debug. Okay, you try to check if a certain line of code is being reached. So this line of code was not being reached. Okay, so I can remove it, and all we get is this. Okay, error receiving flight order 404. Okay, so actually this code, this message 500 is wrong. Okay, this because this, if you look at this, okay, they're saying 500 internal server error, but that is wrong. If they don't find it, okay, it should not be 4, it should not be 500, it should be 404 still. Okay, so I don't know if I can say e.code. Does it have a code or something? Let me go to exception class and see base exception. Okay, let me not go into that. I might end up changing this into an optimization class. Let me just put here a comment. Okay, I'll see it when I'm refactoring. I'll say to do return appropriate error in case error message, appropriate error message, and code in case flight order not found. Okay, so this is something, this is a better way of doing it. So I'll scroll to the bottom. Okay, so I think that's it. But again, I need probably to study this more because I think we have a flight. Okay, a flight order we created here. So it shouldn't return a 404. Okay, that's my point of concern. Okay, this should not return a 404 in any case. We're supposed to get a flight order, a valid one. Okay, so let me go back to this. Okay, so you see what we're essentially what we're doing is what they're also doing, because you remember, yes, I copied this from them. I hope this is not probably maybe a different data type. Okay, because I would expect it to remain the same. If I say print the type of flight order, okay, it should be a string. Say print flight order ID type, something like that. Okay, it should be string. Okay, so you see it's string. So yeah, we'll investigate that. Okay, but for now we know that this is being reached. I just need to read more to understand what is failing. There's another endpoint that we need. Why did I remove? For deleting, okay, an order. I mean for canceling rather. So I'll come here and define it. Actually, you can simply copy all this. Okay, copy all this. So you see, some of the things are first you have to study and know what is the actual API you're depending on expecting. Okay, so this should be route.delete, like that, as simple as that. Then this comment should change to delete flight order. Okay, by flight order ID. Then here should be Amadeus service dot delete flight order. Okay, even here we need an appropriate message, so I'll keep the comment. So I hope this makes sense to you. So I'll copy also this, come back here. Since they are the same, I can also replicate, copy just simply this. Yeah, so many times when you're coding and you know that the logic is going to be the same, you don't need to reinvent the same things. So you can simply come here, change this to delete flight order. Let us go to the documentation one more time. I want to read something. Okay. So it says cancel a given flight order. Okay. And of course, if you go to try it out, look at their strings. I see it has these characters, and theirs actually work. So if I execute, so I'm wondering why hours are not working. Okay. I see title not found, detail, flight order ID not found. Not bad. Okay. That's okay. That's a valid message. Actually, you can show someone. Okay. If you go to this other one here, okay, and say try it out, I think this is the order. The same order ID has those characters. Okay. So if you try to pick, says still not found. Okay, which is okay, understandable. So let me get back to what I was doing. So this is in fact, because of that, I want to change this to cancel, not delete. I want it to cancel flight order. Then this one I'll change this comment to cancels flight order details using Amadeus flight orders API, flight order ID, the ID of the flight order to retrieve. Okay, I can reduce this. Then here we need to see what they have in the example. The example says this is get. We go to delete. Python SDK delete. They use delete at the end. Okay. So simply here I'm supposed to change this to delete. And that should work. Okay. So question. Before the question time, let me first duplicate this. Flight order management. Okay, but here the method changes to delete. Okay, so if I hit send, okay, we get the same error message, which does not make sense. I think if you get a 500 error, okay, you shouldn't say flight order retrieval failed. This is wrong. Okay, you can just say an error. This can be an error occurred while deleting the flight. Okay, this one has to be. Sometimes I forget these kind of details. An error occurred while retrieving. Okay, this one makes sense for a 500 error. Okay, for 500 error you want to return something like this. Okay, saying an error occurred while retrieving the flight order. Here you say an error occurred while deleting the flight order. I don't need to include this, the error in the main. What's wrong with AI? But those are things I will do when like handling logs. When I'm logging, I will need actually this E to be in the log. Okay, I'll show you how to do that advanced log management. Okay, so we have two very similar methods. Okay, our question is how do we navigate, okay, and solve the issue. Okay, so well, who is this again with distractions? Just a moment. Because we're supposed to return uh the okay, so like here, okay, supposed to, I think in Python, is it, if I remember right, is it E dot what, dot response, okay, something like dot response dot status, is it status code, something like that. Okay, but yeah, let me see if I'm right. It looks like I neshed big time. I need to find out how to get the error code. Okay, but anyway, we'll do that later. Okay, but you get the goal of all this. So we need to change this, okay, to cancel flight. How did I name it? Cancel flight order. Like that. Okay. Is the app still running? And yeah, it is. Flight order management. Just leave it like that as to a refactor later. All right. So, my friends, what do you think? What do you think should be done? Okay. And as you think, I want to show you something. Okay. Which I've discovered most of the things most of the mistakes we do as developers are actually ours. Yesterday I made a mistake and I want to show you. And that mistake was because I did not read enough and I did not debug enough. If you go to this function, where is it? I need to put this on the next line. This one here, view sitemap. Okay. The way I'm supposed to send the data was this, to do this. How did I discover it? I came to document to the examples here. Okay. And just to show you before we go back to that, because I might actually forget. Flight sitemap, where is it? Wow. Here it is. Okay. So I came to like I looked at Carl. Okay. Their Carl example. Carl is, if you know the tool Carl. Okay. I went to post. Okay. Then let me close this. So I went to post, then Carl, and I looked at the shape of the data they send. This is how I knew. Okay. You must have a key called data, and the rest must be in a list. Then inside a flight offer. How do I know it's a flight offer? By type being flight offer. That's how I knew how to do it. So we can do the same for actually this, which I'm struggling with. I can close this. And funny enough, the things are very easy to solve after you've rested and you wake up in the morning. It looks very easy to solve. So we're dealing with flight order management. Right now we're hustling with get. So get, I go to Carl. And look at this. Test that Amadeus flight booking orders. Okay. Yeah, I think this is it. The same thing we are doing. Okay. The same thing we are doing. Only that for us, hours are not being found. Okay. Which is, I think, fair and okay. But what is puzzling me is that with this, okay, I think with this request, okay, let me try to exchange this. I say from NYC to London, okay, and then I hit send. And actually, there's something about this flight orders endpoint in our code that needs to change. I misunderstood completely what Amadeus was trying to do. And actually, they sent me an email. Okay. Later, I discovered it's me who is the problem. I just need to do more reading. Okay. Every time I wake up and my mind is fresh, I do more reading and I understand. I mean to understand what they are doing. Okay. So if you look at this, the question is, which of these is the flight order ID? Is it this? Because when I copy this, guys, okay, ideally this is a flight order. Okay, this is a flight order we have. When I come to flight order management and put the ID, okay, it's supposed to be okay. Okay, but for some reason, if you come to the actual, what is this? We're now getting a different error. Interesting. Interesting. Let us see. Says object is not iterable. What object is not iterable? Let us scroll. It is funny as you're expecting a different error, something else surfaces. What object is not iterable? An encoder says first order. Okay, that's a string. But what line is actually failing? That's what we're interested in. Let's go to, okay, let me close this and go to get flight order. Something is not iterable. What could that be? And this, like, I don't know why these guys are not so, like, just tell me the line of code. Okay, just tell me the line of code. So it is on line this, and I'll be a very happy software engineer than leaving me hanging in wondering what is wrong. So what object is not iterable? Errors from E. Is it the E I tried to print? Am I printing an E somewhere? No, here I'm not. Is it because of this? It can't be. That would be crazy. Let's find out. Let me run this again. Let me actually close, and I want to kill this, okay, and clear the screen so that I have a clear stack trace. The error has advanced. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so friends, this is how sometimes programming is. You do things and you can't just get past them. Did they copy a wrong flight order? I doubt. You can't say it's because it was a wrong value. Otherwise, would know. So I want to do what they call. First, let me see this get. I'm calling. Okay. You know what they call elimination method. Okay. Let me go to how I used to debug. No, just learning to code. You start uncommenting things. Okay. So detail that. Okay. Wait. Does refresh, but that's okay. Come back here. This should be okay. This should cause any issue. Wait, I want to print the response. Okay. Let's say response. Okay, let me just do this. Put a new line. Maybe the response I'm returning has an issue. Okay. Okay, me so print the type. We're about to see how it goes down. So let me scroll up, expand this. Okay, this is a string, has been got. Response, that response. Okay. But then where is error exception end? It's coming about an encoder. Okay. JSON about encoder. Am I supposed to say dot data? Something like that. Okay, let's try to leave AI. I want to go to actually their example. Maybe they have something like that, and come on, guys. Are you seeing this? Response to data. Why didn't I see that? Because this response is not something which can be JSONable. I mean, it cannot be encoded to JSON easily. It cannot be serialized. Like I've been doing serialization and deserialization for years. How can I miss this? It's here. It's now working. Crazy. It's crazy, guys. Maybe I'm just tired. I need a cup of water. I think I'm just tired. Okay, I'm just tired. It's either I'm tired or my attention to detail has reduced. I blame AI for this. There we are. So this is what they call learning. This is now learning. You learn a framework 1 month, the next month you're building. This is now learning. Okay. Because as my mind was going crazy. Okay. I was going to go crazy. I'm like, but what's the problem? Okay. The first issue you complained about was this. Okay. But I figured out it was because the URL, you see, it has this kind of characters, these ones here. Okay. They break stuff. So the first solution, we came here in the route and we said, no, give it to us as it is. Okay. Do you remember that a few minutes ago? By adding path, okay, we are able to accept the special characters. Okay, so path simply says allow anything. We solved that. Okay, next thing was I was wondering, is this because of this? I'm like, but what do you mean iterable? Okay, I was getting, let me do that error again. Okay, so let me remove all these. Okay, and simply return the response. Save. I was going to go crazy. I'm like, what's going on? Let's send the request. Okay, and I want it to fail. Okay, so it has failed. Okay, we come here and read the error. Okay, you see it says value error, type error, object is not iterable. Okay, and why that is being returned by the JSON-able encoder. Okay, those who learned FastAPI with me in the streams remember what JSON-able encoder does. Okay, so ideally the whole point is that this, okay, cannot be serialized, cannot be returned, is not a type. Okay, a type of this type of response is not a type that can be easily converted into something that can be easily be serialized. It cannot. And actually, if you go up here, you see, I said .data. You get? When you come up here, if you go to anything, maybe like create flight order, okay? At the end, we say .data. So I don't know why I forgot that. If you go to confirm price, you see, this one, maybe this one, only this one doesn't have that, okay? If you go to, not this one, I want to show you another one. Even this one, this visit map, okay? Body.data. So I'm wondering how I had forgotten it. So yeah, here's supposed to be response.data, like that. Or simply here .get.data. Either way it works, okay? Same thing. So if I come back here and say, give me this flight order, there we are. It works, okay? So I'll save, okay? So we have to do the same thing for this other one. So simply uncomment. I was going crazy. I was like, is there maybe a line of code here which is not working? That's why I commented it out, okay? So let us delete. In fact, this one, I'm going to say, I want to name this function. This is going to be cancel flight order. You see, the more you code, okay, you should be always be thinking of ways, how can I improve this? How can I make it better? So I'm going to say cancel flight order. This one I'll say get flight order. Okay. Yeah, these are better names actually. Instead of deleting, I'm going to change this comment to cancel. Okay, so cancel is a better name. So you have to always be thinking, how can I make my code better? Okay, that's why you say have these to-dos here to help you make your code better. So let's prove, okay, whether this works. How I'm going to prove is I'm going to copy this flight order ID, okay, like this. Hit send, okay. It should now work and give us the 200, okay. Okay, we have fetched the flight order. So now we need to delete it, okay. So I'll come here to delete, okay, and remove this one and post, okay, and say send. We get still an internal server error, okay. So I think for delete, we're supposed to say response to data, I guess, okay. Yeah, the same issue, the same error, response to data. So if we come and send, okay, this should now be okay, but I guess it was already, you see, we get now, this is okay, okay. This is fine. But I was actually expecting them, instead of returning a 200, I was expecting them to return a 204. Okay. So if I come back here to flight order, okay, I want to rename all these ones. This should be get flight order. Okay. This one should be renamed as cancel flight order. Okay. So as you code and you understand things, the better. Okay. Ojaka says I will develop this API using DRF. Nice, 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 nice. Do it. You learn a lot, by the way. Okay. And of course, now me, I cannot do it using DRF because actually, I think if I was to do this using DRF, I would take a very short time. Because yeah, DRF is like is easier than eating a banana to me. Yeah, Ojaka, do it. I can't wait to see your stuff. Okay. So now that it has been deleted, I want to say get flight order. Okay, it should fail. Okay, so detail an error occurred while retrieving the flight order. This is okay. Okay, for now, but ideally we're supposed to say flight order does not exist. Okay, so we need to do better exception handling. Okay, so you see that things are now working. Okay, we're able to cancel flight orders. If I try to do this again, we should get an error. Okay, I guess for them they don't return errors. Once you delete something which is not there, still it's not there. It does not matter. Okay. So this is okay. And flight order. But the implementation of this has to change. And I'll show you why in a moment. I'm thinking of something. Yeah, but I think for this is good enough. What I need to change is the error handling here. I want to show you something concerning flight order. Something wrong I did. Okay. And I realized it today. And it's mainly because I had not understood how Amadeus works. Okay. So if I go to in the service, okay, in this Amadeus, and by what I'm doing here, if you do, I think this line of code, line 154, is something called singleton. Go and learn about a design pattern called singleton. Later, I'm going to refactor this project around design patterns, okay? And I'll show you several design patterns, maybe 3, okay? So I'm looking for something, create flight order, okay? Doing this, okay? I saw it in the the first time I was implementing it, and I was like, whoa. Because every time I think this last code which I've highlighted, okay, I would put here a flight offer, but it would always reject, giving a 400. And in their code, I saw them doing things like this. So I thought maybe these guys, you have to actually do a flight offer search first, do a confirm price, okay, then you do this, okay. But I discovered actually this could be very wrong, okay. And I'm going to change it so it comes from the request. Why I think it's now possible because this one here, okay. Also, you remember yesterday I had an issue with it, and the solution, after digging deep and understanding how their API works by reading their documentation and looking at the example on GitHub, you're supposed to do something like this, okay. You must have a key called data with a list, okay, of flight offers, okay. In fact, I'm going to start renaming these things, okay. Like this should be simply flight offer, okay, instead of request body, flight offer, like that, okay, to give it a better name, okay. It's flight offer. So yeah, this is how you keep on changing your variable names to make your code more maintainable. Because if someone is in the service and then they say request body, it might force them to go back to the route. It might force them to see the function using this, okay, using this function. So flight off at least makes more sense, okay. Even these things like request body, all these are going to have to be changed, okay. Yeah. So just letting you know. Even these types, something about these types, okay, of improving them. Instead of saying having dict, they can be improved. So yeah, create flight order, I think, because the next thing I want us to talk about is catching. So I think I'll do this in my free time, just refactoring this, okay. So ideally, what is going to happen is this. Let me show you, okay. All this code, okay, all this is going to move away up to here. This should not be the case, okay, logically. So I was so disturbed, and actually I wrote an email to them. And so ideally it's supposed to come, we're supposed to have something like maybe like flight offer. Okay, flight offer is equals to request.get flight offers. Okay, then you pass the flight offer like that. Okay, but it's supposed to be constructed in a good way. Okay, so yeah, probably like how I showed you down here. I'm supposed to have like a to build it. Okay, something like this. Let me say I'll have like maybe a dictionary. Are you seeing this data, something like this? Okay, but I'm not saying this is the one. I'm going to investigate and do it right. Okay, and do it right. So this is going to be wrong. I mean, this is what I had is wrong, and I want to change it. So I'll Control Z for now. Okay, then I'll adjust it offline and show you later. But I just want to let you know that what I implemented back then is actually wrong after doing more research. Yeah, so this is what we have, but yeah, it works. Okay, but ideally this flight search should come from here. Okay, so last time when I got frustrated and I thought this, because if you look at their documentation, okay, I mean their example here, flight offers search post. Okay, and you look at not search, looking for create order Python here. Okay, are you seeing what they do? Are you seeing what they do? They do a search, they do a price confirmation, then this. So I thought this was like textbook command that do exactly as it appears here, but that's not the case actually. And I'll prove it to you. Akash Kumar says, I have knowledge about Python only and sound knowledge of FastAPI. Is this video for me or not? Akash, this project is for you. Okay. And actually, you may actually help me. Okay. Because actually, let me show you Akash. What I'm doing is this. Okay. Let me explain to you Akash so that you understand. View channel, go to playlist. So Akash, this is what I'm doing. Okay. About a month ago, let me close this. So what I want is this. I need this. So I hope I pronounce your name. Akash Kumar. Is this Akash Kumar? Are you from India? I guess you're from India. I began by learning FastAPI, you see, about a month ago. So I learned FastAPI. Okay. This was the first video I had. Okay. Learning FastAPI. Okay. I went through the documentation of FastAPI step by step, about 31 days. Okay. Learning FastAPI every day. After that, I'm now building a project. Okay. A flight booking engine. Okay. And this project is going to I'm building it because it is for a startup which I'm part of. Okay, and I'm building it end to end. I'm building the backend. I've done part of the DevOps. We shall finish the DevOps. We shall do the front end, everything. Okay, it's a full stack project, but I'm starting with the backend. Okay, so you know Python like the rest of us, and you know FastAPI. So right now, what I'm doing is building my first project, which is for actually an actual startup. Okay, live on YouTube. Okay, so this video is for you. Okay, but what I would suggest for you is maybe you can watch these fast videos. Okay, because I'm pretty much a slow speaker, so you can watch at maybe like let us say 2x speed. Okay, very fast. Within 20 minutes you'll be done maybe with these 1 hour videos. Okay, like here where I'm doing system design, especially this one here of system design. I really suggest you watch it. Okay, this one about system design, watch it. Okay, then things like which are key, like setting up Docker, you can watch. User registration, you can watch. Okay, authentication is also key. Okay, and others. Okay, so yeah, this video is right for you. Okay, so do not worry about that. Okay, yeah, so I've just liked this video. I didn't know you can like your own video. This is interesting. So make sure you like the video so that more people can see it and share it with others. Okay, so that we grow as a community right here. And of course, you know what they say, sharing is caring. So yeah, Akash, I don't know if I've answered your question. So this video is for you, okay? And of course, if you've just joined, you might have to watch from the beginning, but I hope it makes sense to you. Yeah, so this is going to change, like I've told you. What else am I thinking about? I'm thinking about what am I thinking about? So I'm thinking about something, okay? If I removed this, okay, I want to see how the propagation of error message is going to work. Actually, not for this, okay? I want to try it with this. Just watch what I'm doing, okay? I want to remove this and also remove this. Save. The application is running, okay? So I want to get an order again for something which does not exist. Okay, we still get the same thing, but here it's a 404, okay, which makes sense. So here in get flight order, I need a try catch. Do I try catch? But what I'm going to do is this, okay? Look at this, okay? I want to send a request. Just follow me closely, okay? Follow me very closely. Follow me very closely, okay? I see in the error say Amadeus client errors dot not found error, okay? I need to find. I don't know whether this can be imported. Where is Amadeus? Let me try. Let me say from Amadeus dot client dot errors import. Okay, but that's what I want. I want to see it again. I want to see its name. Okay, I want to do error handling for at least something. Okay, dot not found. Okay, import not found error. Okay, yeah, this is the one I want. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Then I come here. Okay, at the top, I paste this. Then I go to the bottom. Okay, wait, this is the wrong. This is the wrong place. I was meaning the router. Okay, I want it in the router here. So this was actually the right place to have it. Then here, okay, here, okay, I'm going to undo what I had. Come on. Okay, let me first undo to get back. Undo. Because actually I thought I was in the right code, but I was in the wrong code. Okay, so this I'm going to modify it. Okay, I'll have this here. Follow me very closely. Okay, not found error. Then down here, okay, let us handle this exception now. Here, okay, I will accept, and I say except, okay, except not found error. Okay, yeah, now we can raise, I can go with AI's definition. This one here, 404 flight order not found. This is a better message. Okay, so I can remove this and leave this one here. Okay, this one can remain, but we have this. Okay, so that if there's a not found error, okay, which has been raised by our service, okay, because getting the flight failed. Okay, there's no flight with a particular order, so we simply catch it, okay, using the not found order, not found error. Okay, what's the not found error? It is from amadeus.client.errors.not found error. Okay, and you saw how I found it from down there in the stack trace. And now we can see the status is 404, and the detail is that flight order not found. This is better. Okay, so now if I come back here, instead of having internal server error, check this. This is how it's supposed to be. Okay, 404 detail flight order not found. Way better error handling. Better, like 10 times. Okay, this now makes sense. At least I have to do better than Amadeus at what I do. Let me not over talk. So you understand, okay? So this is the first case. Then also for this, we can do the same thing. I'll remove these comments, okay? But what is interesting about canceling a flight order? Even if the flight order doesn't exist, they don't throw that. They simply keep giving you this 200, okay? So I think it does not matter, okay? So for cancellation, we can simply leave it, okay? Like this, okay? In case, because we are seeing that even if I do this, okay? Because remember, this flight order does not exist anymore because we have cancelled it, okay? But for them, when you cancel, whether the flight, whether when you give them a flight order ID, whether it exists or not, whether it has been cancelled or not, they'll continue giving you a 200, okay, for cancellation. That's one thing you should know, okay? That's oh wait, guys. I think I've understood something, okay? As long as this flight ID is valid, okay, they will always cancel an order, okay? But what happens if I put a wrong ID? For example, like I want to change this D to like R and I send. You see, we get an internal server error saying an error occurred while deleting the flight order. But if you come here, okay, and you check this, okay, I don't think this is the correct error, okay, which is supposed to be returned. So I'm going to do this. Instead of if I want to come to the service here, okay. So I want to print this error, okay. Let us print this error, okay, and we see what it's made of, what it actually is. Did it run? Send. There, I saying it's a 400 bad request. Okay, so I want to send an appropriate error message, okay, because we sent an invalid order ID, okay. So I want to remove this, okay, and I see flight canceling flight order, but I want to see its type, okay. What I want to do is this. I'm going to print error. They expect it to be like an object, okay. Then in addition, I'm going to print type of error like that. Say type of error. Expand this one more time. Come back here. Send the request. Okay. So I saying we get Amadeus.client.errors.client error. Okay. So client error meaning the issue is with the client who is sending the request. And if an error is a client error, we say it's a bad request. Okay. So for this case, I want to catch this error, this client error, okay, in my route. Okay. So let me remove this. I'll remove all these, okay, and come up to the top and say client error, okay. So I'll copy this and go to the bottom. I'm loving today's stream, okay. I thought I was going to set to do and do it later, but yeah, I'm handling it now, which is nice. I say except, okay, this time it will be client error, okay. And if we get a client error, we shall raise an exception. Let me see what is AI saying. Saying exception set as 400. Okay, 400 is correct. Let us see the message. It says detail flight order cancellation failed. No, this is wrong. I'll say detail flight. I'll say invalid because this is an issue with the client. I'll say invalid flight order ID. Okay. So if I send a request again, are you seeing? We get now an appropriate message. Okay. This is a better message saying invalid flight order ID. So if I come back here and I pick a valid flight order ID, from here I pick this one, I come and remove this, paste it, and send. There we are. It works fine. If I come here, okay, and send to get a flight order, 404 not found. Let us come here and create a flight order. Says unauthorized. We need to log in. So I'll come back here to log in and hit send. There we are with a new access token, meaning the other one expired. Okay, and I'll set as a variable to bearer token. Okay, save this, cancel, come here, it has already been set for us. Hit send, so the order is being created. Okay, and also I'm going to modify this as it's running. I want to modify this function. Okay, for you to be able to cancel a flight order or get a flight, you must be someone who has logged in. Okay, so we're going to make use of our dependency get current user. So you see we have got our current what, our order ID. So I'll copy it. Okay, come here, put it, send. This time it should work. Okay, you see we get a 200. Okay, and we get the flight order. Isn't this nice? So now, but this should only work for people who have been authenticated. Okay, so we have to come here and we change. Okay, I'll come here and I change, and I say, just like we did, what is it? We did it for a flight order. This one here, post. Okay, we created a dependency. Okay, so I can come here, comma, next line. There we are. Looks like AI knows what we want to do. I'll just hit tab. Okay, this is the dependency. Bring in dependency, get current user, and this is the type. Okay. So if I go to the function, just to explain maybe for those who did not see. Okay, this function simply decodes a token. Okay, using the secret and the algorithm. Okay, and it gets the email. Okay, if the email is none, it returns this exception here, credentials exception. Otherwise, we fetch we fetch from our database. Okay, where the email is equals to the email equals to this email. Okay, if there is no user with this email, we still return an exception. Otherwise, we say things are okay. So if I come back here and I hit send, okay, you see we get unauthorized. Why? Because we've added a dependency here which checks for authentication. Okay, this one here, get current user. Okay, and it also depends on the auth2 scheme. Okay, auth2 scheme is up here. It's the one which is responsible for retrieving the token for us. Okay, and if I go to to retrieve and gives us a token here, and then also have this one here, this session, a dependency. Okay, which helps us to have access to the database. So if I come here now and I come to authorization and I change this to bearer token, okay, so you see we have the bearer token added. Then I say send. It should now work. There it is. Okay, it has worked. So we save this. Then something else I'm going to change. Okay, also for canceling a flight, only someone who has been authenticated should be able to cancel a flight. Okay, so I'll go to our code. I'll remove this, come back here. Okay, put a comma. Okay, and look at autocomplete for AI. Okay, this is correct. Okay, it's the current user. Type of user in DB depends on get current user. Okay, so this is the dependency which will help us with to make checks. So if we click this, it should fail. It says unauthorized. Okay, but if we come here to the authorization, change the auth type to bearer token, and it is added for us automatically here, and we say hit send. There we are. The flight has been cancelled successfully. So I'll save, close this. If I try to fetch the flight order, okay, you'll see we won't get an appropriate message telling us, you know what, that flight order was actually cancelled. Okay, it's taking longer than usual. You should have brought. Oh, looks like I cancelled the wrong one. Oh, this is for creating a flight order. Wow, not for canceling. Let us go to get flight order. I was wondering why it was taking long. Okay, Okay, this is 200. Okay, so I'm going to copy this flight order and cancel it. Okay, I was wondering what's up, what's going on. So come here, we want to cancel this flight. Hit send. Yeah, it has been cancelled. Save, close this. So if we get this, if we come here and try to get the same flight order, you see we get 404, say flight order not found, which is good and correct. So yeah, 2 more endpoints added today, and days good success. So of course we have something that is going to edit for us. So using this kind of wise, smart error handling, where now we are now specifying the kind of error to be caught, okay, and sending back the appropriate code, okay, like 400, 500, 404, 500 is something that we need to do for other endpoints, okay. And as we continue implementing things, I'll keep changing and showing you what to do. So we have come to the, I need now to commit, okay, say git status just to see what we have, okay. Then I can say git add, git commit -m, the feature is saying, I can say fetch a single flight. I should have done this in single flight order. I should have done this in separate commits. Then -m, cancel a flight order, like that. I don't know if Linus is still here. So you see rough check has failed, okay, because it was formatting, okay. If you can see, it has formatted our code in a better way, okay. So you see all several of them have been formatted, okay. So I need to commit, I need to add, okay. I need to stage again. It has not been committed. Then I say commit. Then this time they should all pass, okay. Then now I can push to GitHub. All right, Linus is still here. I was asking for you because I wanted to answer your question, okay. So Linus, you asked me, let me scroll up to get your actual question. Please tell us how you establish your workflow to understand which feature to build next. All right, so this is what I will tell you. First of all, you've seen me learning, okay, how Amadeus works, and you've seen me iterating my code from time to time. Okay, that is something that is part of software development that you have to embrace. Okay, you have to know that sometimes I'll learn, sometimes I'll fail, and I have to learn and unlearn, relearn. Okay, you have to have an open mind and don't be too attached to your code that I can break this code, improve it, make it. But what I'm trying to tell you is this, okay? How I don't establish the workflow at once, okay? I keep, it's something that I keep iterating, changing from time to time, okay? So for example, I'll give you an example like today, okay? Like today, or let me say that from the beginning when I've been designing this API, okay? I first of all studied how do airlines work? How does booking a flight work? Okay? Because as a software engineer, excuse me, as a software engineer, if you want to create an application for a farmer, you must understand how the farmer works. If you want to create an application for a doctor, you must understand how a hospital works. If you want to create an application for maybe a mechanical engineer, you must understand mechanical engineering, at least to the minimum. Okay. So I did a study of how flights are booked. Okay. So I know that on popular booking sites, I know that the first step is searching for a flight. That is why you see we did flight offers search in the beginning, okay? Search flights, you see? We have post flight, search flights, we have search flights, get, okay? Then after you've searched for flight, you confirm the price, okay? But actually yesterday I discovered after searching for flight, the next thing you're actually supposed to do is to allow someone to do the seat maps, okay? But it was yesterday. Before I knew it was confirming price. So after they have gotten their seat map, they confirm the price. After confirming the price, they can now make an order. Okay. After they have made an order, they can now either fetch that order to see it at any time they want or cancel it. Okay. So I knew it by reading Amadeus documentation. I've been reading it every day, by also looking at like Fly Emirates. I've been on the Fly Emirates website a lot, okay, to see the flow of events. That is how I know that I'm supposed to build this feature next. I don't know if that answers the question. So like in this flow, you've seen me from time to time changing things, okay? Because at some point I knew that in my mind, okay? To create an order, you need to know who a person is, okay? So to know who they are, at least you need them to log in. You get that is why we implemented login at some point, if you remember that. Okay, we implemented login. That's how I knew. Also, at another point, I think we did Docker and we had a database. Okay, because I knew that to log in or to register, you need to save someone in a database. Okay, so I'm like, okay, this is the best time to to set up a database. Okay, using Docker. That's how we ended up here. Okay, then like right now we're coming to the end. I know that to, if I don't optimize this application, okay, for frequent requests, okay, it can easily slow down. But to make it faster, I need to do caching, okay, using Redis. Okay, so I'm going to implement Redis in the next. I'm going to be the Redis caching engine, okay, to handle search when you're searching for flight and also when you're getting a particular flight order. Okay, I'll create even for seat maps. Okay, I'll do some catching there. Okay, that's how I know. Now another issue. Okay, I know that before when you're getting a flight order, you need to perform payment. Okay, Linus, you need to perform payment. So there's certain things which can come later. Okay, in fact, even I would have implemented authentication later also. But now things like payment need to come in somewhere because maybe after you've done the flight order, probably I need to capture maybe. Actually, what I'm going to do when you're doing a flight order, I'll say this is maybe reserving your flight, okay? But for it to be issued, you need what? To pay. Okay, so I'm going to have a separate endpoint for making payments. I don't know if I've given you a general idea of how I know what to build next. Okay, so I know the whole flow of how flights and airlines work. Okay, then I simply arrange them in that order. Okay, in that order. Some I unlearn and discover, oh no, this was supposed to come before this. Okay, as I keep on studying, I understand things better. So next up, we're going to do catching. There's payments, implementing a payment gateway. There's catching. Okay, there's notification. Actually, I think going forward, I should focus on the big major things. Then other things I can even do them online. Like for example, searching for city. Okay, we need it, but I don't think I need to do the stream for that. So the major big things I should do next is catching, then event streaming and notifications, then CI/CD with GitHub Actions, then maybe things like Terraform, Kubernetes, container orchestration. So maybe we have like about 6 major streams. Other things don't come to my mind right now. Okay, but yeah, generally that's it. Okay, we do the major heavy things. Okay, then the others we can always figure out. Okay, maybe even some like I can take an alternate with no more features. Okay, but now going forward, next I want to do what is it called? Wow, I want to do catching. Okay, I want to build a catching engine. Then for this, I told you I'm building most of the Amadeus thing is that's why we need to build a catching engine. Then we can set up a CI/CD or do event streaming notification stuff. Yeah, we'll see what to do. Okay, we'll see what to do as time goes. Oh, Sachit, where are you from? Job, how are you doing? Lena says, so search is key before as you build this, and this makes sense to understand better how something is. Yes, search is key because before you book a flight, you first search for it. Okay. Okay. Yes, Sachit, I knew your name actually is Indian. Okay. I have a thing for identifying Indians, Congolese, and Nigerians. Very easy. Job says it's good. John says, Mean, I found this video in the right time. I want to learn more about Redis. Oh, good to know. So in my next stream, which may be either tomorrow, Saturday, or Monday, I'll do Redis. Okay. Yeah, because tomorrow I wanted to work on something separate concerning AI. Okay, this content I want to make concerning AI, because this project is going to have AI integration at some point. So I want to make something concerning AI. Okay, so even concerning AI, I want to do like text generation, image, things like RAG, things like fine tuning, video to is it text to video, text to audio, like that. Okay, then we see Sachit says Hindi is a Hindi. Nice to meet you, Sachit. Actually, me, I find it to differentiate between Hindi and all those. Okay, I just know Indian. Actually, most of the Indians I knew were either born in my country, all those I know from YouTube. Born. They always talk about a place. Is it Bangalore? Let me Google it. Something like this. Most of software developers. I think this is the name. Yeah. Is it Bengaluru? Sorry for mispronouncing. I don't want to bite my tongue. Lina says, thank you for answering the question. Now I have a glimpse of how I'll be building projects. Yeah, that's good to know. Yes, so Job, yeah. In the next stream, I'll announce it in the posts, in the community posts of this channel, and then of course on social media also. At least like about 10 hours before, okay? Before I go live. So yeah, expect to see it. At least before 9 hours, 8 hours, you should be up. So thank you everybody for again learning with me. Yeah, so you see, software engineering, I can summarize software engineering as something, a kind of thing which requires you to, number one, you have to be consistent. Okay, you have to persevere. You must not give up. Okay, have you seen the number of times I've faced bugs? Yeah, some of you know I have some experience. Okay, but have you seen the number of bugs and issues I've faced from the beginning? But no matter how hard they are or how confusing they are, whether I've understood them or not, I keep going. Okay, I keep going. That is what software engineering is all about. Not giving up. Being consistent and not giving up will put you ahead of so many people. Trust me, so many people. And I've learned this in my career. Okay, so whenever you face challenges as you code, as you study software engineering, don't give up. Okay, you keep going, you study, you always question why, what's wrong. Okay, because there are always two things wrong. Okay, either maybe the thing you're working with has an issue or you. But like you've seen in this series, 99.999%, the issue is you, the software engineer. It has been me the problem. How am I the problem? I've not yet understood how maybe Amadeus works. I've not understood how FastAPI works. I've not understood how something to do with the code, okay? Because I just learned FastAPI last month. I spent 31 days learning FastAPI last month. I can't call myself a master at FastAPI. I can call myself an expert maybe at backend development or full stack development because I've done it for a long time. But in regard to FastAPI, no, I'm not. So I expect to have issues, okay? Because I'm learning, I expect to have issues, okay? On top of that, I'm learning about airlines and flight management. I've never worked at an airport. This is the first time I'm studying flight management, okay? So number one, I'm going to have issues in my way of thinking concerning flight management because I don't have experience concerning it. That's the first issue. Secondly, I'm still mastering FastAPI, okay? So issues will be there between FastAPI and also between understanding what flights are all about, and also you as a human, you have some errors maybe in your thinking or whatever. Maybe you're tired after a long day. Like now, right now, it's coming to 11 p.m. here. Okay, it's about 9 minutes to 11 p.m. If you can see the time in the corner of my screen here. Okay, So maybe you're tired, or probably as a developer, you're not that good at identifying things. Okay. So yeah, issues come, but the more you persist and you don't give up, you get good. Job says, if it's possible, let me have your LinkedIn. We need to network more. Yeah. So LinkedIn is, I use my the same name. Okay. If I go to LinkedIn, linkedin.com, my network is quite slow. Okay. So I use the same name. Okay. Yeah, Nehemiah Kamolo, same name. So you can always, yeah, reach out to me, Job, and yeah, we can talk. So yeah, friends, I think is this the longest stream I've had so far because of too much talking. Yeah, but I hope we have learned something. I hope the talking has, yeah, helped you to get something, because personal I've learned something. So yeah, it's coming to 11 p.m. and let me, yeah, to call it a day and rest. We'll meet in the next stream. So yeah, I'll announce the next stream early, but you have given you a heads up. It will be about catching, and yeah, as we do catching, we shall improve a few things. And if there's anything, I'll refactor. Okay, offline I'll show you, because I've already told you about one thing I want to refactor. Okay, it's this service. Where is it? Create flight order. This. Okay. After doing more research, like I told you, this is not how it's supposed to be. Okay, so we're going to change it. So don't get attached too much to code. So I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Job. I appreciate Sachit from India. I know where Job is from. I appreciate Linus. I appreciate Akash. Actually, I think Akash is also from India. I appreciate Ojaka. Okay, Ojaka from who is the current learner at ALX. I don't know. For Ojaka, I think is from either Ghana or West Africa. Oh yeah, let me say West Africa in general. Let me make a random guess. So yeah, thank you all for learning with me. See you in the next live stream. And again, yeah, share this with everybody. Okay, let's grow a community together. And of course, subscribe if you love to.